morning. I am going to present our notes for the first topic. I've never done it like this before. Even last year when I filmed things, I would film the camera looking down at my page and I would write on the page. But I thought that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I'm hoping that you're going to fill out your notes, taking what I'm saying and then putting it into notes form. So the reason I think it's important to do it this way is so that if you are going to college next year, you start to get used to the idea of your teacher or professor just talking in front of the class and you having to write down what you think is important. So obviously you wouldn't be writing down everything I just said. This is just the introduction. You wouldn't write all that down. So you're going to try to take the important information and put it into your notes. So I did make a copy of the notes, but you'll notice my printer doesn't print color. So when you see your notes on the Google form or the Google Doc, all of this is, there's, a fancy picture and it says consumer math notes. And I had to handwrite mine in for myself because I didn't have any color in my printer. So for today, really, this is very short and very simple. All we're going to talk about today are expenses. You already did a little bit of that last week when you were reading that article about needs and wants. Sorry, just my computer just made a sound. Let me put that on quiet. So all you're going to fill out in your notes is, first we want to know what are 4 definitions. So some words come up that you already know what those words mean, but in the context of our class, what do they mean? So the first is, what is an expense? An expense is literally just something you spend money on. So that can be anything from a need to a want, but an expense is something you spend money on. The next question is, what is a need? Before I even say that answer, so this is the first time we're doing this as a video, you can always pause the video, write down your notes, and then restart the video. It's one of the reasons I actually like the remote learning or the remote instruction is because you can pause things. As you notice, I talk really fast. So in class, you might think, oh my gosh, wait, I'm trying to write down what she said and she's already talking about the next thing. So at least with this, you can pause it and write stuff down. Second, what is a need? So a need is something you must have: food, water. We're living in America. We would probably consider cooking, heating. Would we consider air conditioning a need? I guess it depends on your own family. That might be a need. That might be something that, yes, you are all getting and you have air conditioning. But what are the needs in your life? Do you need clothes? Yes. Do you need Jordans? No. So that's a difference between a need. And then the next one is, what is a want? So a want is a thing you would like to have, but you could do without. So that's the definition of a want. So those are, instead of the shoes, which I need, the Kyries, which I want, or whatever, the fancy shoes. What is an expense record? So that is like a chart or a list that shows everything you spent money on during a certain amount of time. So often when we look at things, we think about things in terms of a month. It's just easier. If we thought about how much we spent every day and how much money we make every day, it doesn't make a lot of sense because some days we work, some days we don't. Some days we spend more than others and our phone bills only due once a month. So we really think of things in terms of a month. So that's why in the next question, it says in the space below, make a list of all of your expenses in a month. So take some time and think about it. What do you spend money on in a month? You're going to pause the video, but if it were me, I'm obviously an adult with children and a house, so my expenses are a whole lot different, but I would have a lot. I would have a lot of expenses, which is why my paycheck is bigger than yours. But I would have like saving for my kids' college. That's actually not an expense. Sorry, that's savings. My expenses would be cell phone bill, my kid's cell phone bill, heating and air conditioning of the house, which would be my electric bill. Did I say cell phone bill? Yeah, I did. I would say my food store bill. I would say, oh my gosh, why didn't I bring my checkbook in here so I could make sure I look at everything? I would say we had to take a tree down. So I had to pay for that. So like that was like a miscellaneous type thing. So you can also have like a miscellaneous item when we start to talk about your own finances. I'm sure I stopped and got myself a tea at least twice. I went to Barnes & Noble. That was an expense. I probably buy a couple books a month, although not really. I do use the library now that the library is open again. But those are the kind of things you want to think about. You are in a totally different situation than I am. You are 16, 17, 18 years old, so your expenses are a whole lot different. What were they? So go ahead and list them. Okay, now the last thing for this little section is I want you to split all of those expenses into a list of needs and a list of wants. So we have a little spreadsheet. Hopefully you should be able to type into it. So go ahead and fill this out. We got the needs on the top, the wants on the bottom. So a need is your cell phone bill. How much does that cost a month? A want is you got the Travis Scott burger at McDonald's 6 times. How much did that cost? Although it's only been available since Friday, so I don't know how many. If you've eaten 6 since Friday, that's a lot. Just kidding. You do you. So go ahead and fill that out. And then that's it. Topic 1. Easy peasy. So I will post this. You'll fill out the first topic. And then we'll do another video for the second topic. So obviously we're starting off easy, but this is, I want this class, me and Mrs. P want this class to be as relevant to you as possible. So you want to think about like your own situation when you're doing, especially this part, when you're talking about your expenses and what you need and what you want. So give it thought. Don't just throw stuff on a paper, and I'll catch you at the next video.